Gutier. Now tonight I ask you, how much do you think the Islamic financial market will contribute to the economy of the country? How much do you think the Islamic financial market will contribute to the country's economy? Now 22162 is the SMS line. Send in your response starting with the word news. At official Razaki at Y254 channel. Hashtag Y254 updates. That's on Twitter. Now tonight I have with me a guest from the Gulf African Bank. His name is Khalfan Abdallah, but I'd like to take this opportunity to invite him here.
Thank you so much, Abdulrazak, for having me to the program.
You're welcome. Now, briefly, at least you can give us some background information on who you are, what exactly you do.
Well, my name is Khalfan Abdallah. As you rightly mentioned, I have worked in Islamic banking industry
Yeah.
for about 10 years in Tanzania, partly in Kenya, and I'm glad to be here to share with the viewers about what Islamic finance or Islamic banking can contribute to Kenya.
Thanks for joining us. Now, to lay a little background to the story, here is the government has formed an 11-member task force that will advise on the drafting of Sharia compliant laws and policy framework to regulate Islamic financial products. The National Treasury Chief Administrative Secretary Nelson Gaishu here says this will help the country to tap into the huge unexploited market for Islamic financial products. Despite financial inclusion in Kenya standing at an impressive 75%, most of this is driven by mobile money. This has kept policymakers busy thinking about ways to further deepen financial inclusion outside mobile money, a reason why tapping into Islamic financial products has been on the cards for several years now. The constituted 11-member task force will now drive, formulate and draft policies on Sharia-compliant financial products. The Treasury believes Islamic finance presents an untapped opportunity that should be capitalized, as it only accounts for 1% of total global assets. For Y254 Business News, my name is Abdulrazak Gutier. Now 22162 is the SMS line. Send us your response starting with the word news and I'll be very glad to hear from you. As I asked initially, how much do you think the Islamic financial market will contribute to the country's economy? And I told you that we have a guest in studio with us to specifically discuss this matter. You're welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
Now, I'd like to ask a very interesting question here. The Islamic finance being incorporated into the mainstream financial system. How exactly do you think these two systems will marry?
Well, actually, they will complement each other very well. In many countries that have started earlier than Kenya, we have seen that this kind of system, Islamic and conventional, goes hand to hand and contribute a lot in terms of economic growth, employment, as well as attracting foreign direct investment to the country. So there's a huge potential that now Kenya actually has already tapped by opening its door to have Islamic financial institution in the country since 2008 that I can remember. So that is the opportunity that lies ahead of us, and I'm glad that the government has really taken serious measures to ensure that this industry complements to the mainstream industry.
But what exactly is the necessity of having Islamic financial policies? Yet initially we had Muslims, and still as of now, we still have Muslims who are customers of banks that do not operate under the Sharia law.
Well, it can be looked at in two ways. One is the external part of it. You know, the world is changing.
Yeah.
The global financial market is changing. And at the global scale, everyone recognizes that Islamic finance is key in terms of having it as part of your financial system. Kenya ambition in 2030 is to ensure that Nairobi is an international financial center. And to have it, you need to ensure that at least your policies are open to each kind of business model to be able to operate into your country. So externally, this is a good signal to say that everyone is welcome to invest in Kenya. Every business model in Kenya are welcomed, and we are supportive to that. Now, internally, it might not be totally true that the existing the conventional system, the Muslim were already there and so on. Yes, to a certain extent, because of necessity of doing business, you have to you have to interact with the financial system, banks, insurance, and so on, so that your business can grow and progress. However, that it has been for a while that the Muslims feel that these are not services which go hand in hand with their faith. So they don't engage that much in terms of using the products and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They just engage to the minimum level required for them to at least do the business and do the transaction.
So, picking up from what you've just said, what advantages do you think Muslims will benefit from this?
Actually, it
Development.
is not just for Muslims. This is for every Kenyans. Every individual living in Kenya has an opportunity to ensure that he is served in line with ethical principles, is served in line in a way that is consonant to moral values. Because the Islamic financial system operates in a very unique way. It is prohibited in Islamic financial services to price your products using interest or using contracts which attracts interest, but rather they use trade-based modes, like trade contracts and partnership contracts. All these provide an opportunity for business, and the good thing is these modes are well known in Kenya in terms of a lot of business people do trade, do partnership, do agency kind of collaboration and so on. This is the model actually you might find in Islamic financial institution, doing trade, doing partnership, facilitate transaction in one way or the other. So there's a huge potential for everyone, not necessarily Muslims, to be able to bank in a morally acceptable manner, but also make sure that their business grow in a way that is beneficial to both parties, not just the banks, but also even themselves, without being exploited. As we can see, currently there is a wider outcry, people crying high interest rates, and these rates are changing, and when they change, they have a huge impact to their businesses and so on.
Now, there is this very interesting argument mentioning interest. I'd like to ask you, when you bank your money, or say when you get a loan, and they charge you for that interest, is it not that they are charging you for, they are sharing in the profits that you would have invested from? Are they not sharing in the profits that you would have gotten if I lend you my money, for example, and you go and trade with it? If I charge you a little more interest, will I not be benefiting from your investment as of the time you would have already accrued your benefits?
Well, there is a lot of rationale that is forwarded in favor of charging interest. But when you look at it from the Islamic perspective, you find that interest is something charged in loan contracts, in loan transactions. And in that sense, it can vary, it can be fixed, but we see in our current market, it is variable, it can vary and so on. So it is predetermined, it can vary, and it is irrespective of the outcome of the other side. So for example, if you come to me, you go to the bank today, a conventional bank, you borrow 1 million shilling for investing in your business, you will be asked to pay that loan 13.5% as an interest, irrespective of whether your business will be able to generate any income,
whether or not you invested.
Now on the Islamic side of it, they don't loan, they don't give you money, for you to just do it in your business. Actually, we all know business not just require money, they require money for something else, because that's why you see money is something that is needed because of other needs. It's not by itself. So what Islamic banks will do is, one, it can trade with you by buying what you need in your business and sell it to you at a fixed price, and you will just have to pay them over time, and you have a lot of other arrangements apart from this, including partnership, whereby we can partner with you, or Islamic Bank can partner with you in your business and share profit and losses accordingly, or according to the initial agreement or understanding onto the where you want to share the profits. But in case of losses, are borne proportionate to the level of capital that has been invested. So this is a unique model. Conventional banks, they simply give you money, and then it's up to you whether you go and do that real business, or you maybe go and do other things. There's a high risk of even diverting the funds to other projects which may be not that profitable. And actually, when we look at the reports, one of the main reasons why most of Kenyans default in their loans is due to diversion of funds. So Islamic models provide a solution to this, because actually they don't deal with money, but they deal with real economy in terms of making sure that what you need, you get it. Or if it is business, then they ensure that whatever they're investing, it goes to the real items.
Let's speak about the morality involved in loaning to customers. Someone might wonder, if someone defaults to pay a loan in time, what exactly would happen? Because we know in other instances, if you're banking with a non-Islamic financial institution, if it's a bank, they would ultimately auction you if you default for a long time. So
definitely.
Yeah. So what will happen in an Islamic banking situation?
Well, here you can choose to look at this in two ways. One is based on the existing laws, okay, and based on the contract that you have entered with the financier. Okay, now if you have entered into the contract whereby both parties agree that in real case, not just in real case of difficulties, okay, then the property can be used to recover whatever debt that you have, then that will be the procedure that will have to be followed. But the good thing with Islamic finance, apart from the fact that it will have to abide by the existing regulations, which actually are not problematic per Sharia, because Sharia or Islamic banking requires parties to agree on how they want their contractual relationship to be governed and to operate. So if you have taken a credit or a financing, and you had agreed that in case you are not able to pay, then your house or your property can be used to recover that, then it is that which will have to be followed.
Then you get a balance.
Okay. The good thing when it comes to of course, yes, what the bank will take, and this is a regulatory but also morally required, is the bank will only take what it owes you. It won't take more than that. So if the value of your house is much bigger compared to the debt, definitely the bank will only claim what it owes, and the rest will have to be returned back. But I want to mention something unique here in Islamic financing, especially if it comes to partnership contracts. In partnership contracts, in case, okay, the reason for you not to service was genuine, was due to change of business dynamics, then Islamic banks can also take that loss, okay, proportionate to what they have invested. So it is not that whether you make it or not, as in conventional banking, I don't care, you have to return my money back, respective of the situation. In Islamic banking, depending on the nature of contract you have entered, and specifically partnership contracts, then the bank is also liable to share the loss with you. So it is not just a matter of going after your security whenever you're in problem. It is only when it is clear that this loss was attributed by your either negligence or misconduct or misrepresentation of how you do business. For that matter, it will go after the asset. But apart from that, it will have to bear its proportionate loss.
Great. We will still continue with this discussion. Don't go away. We're going for a brief break, but remember, 22162 is the SMS line. Send in your response, starting with the word news. And the question was, starting with the word news. And the question was, how much do you think Islamic financial market will contribute to the country's economy? Remember, 22162 is the SMS line, starting with the word news, Y news. So don't go away. We will be back shortly.
Y254. Imagine.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it, count it up, count it up, count You asked for it and now it's here, the first ever hip-hop show on live Kenyan TV.
From 15th of May, every Tuesday, 8:20 to 9:30 p.m. Stuck with me, DJ Rian, the Dex Goddess.
Na mimi kama kawaida aka Mika, kila variety ya hip-hop. Kama unataka crank, old school, new school, kila kitu iko hapo.
Anything you ask for, bora ni hip-hop, tunacheza.
So make sure you send in your request to #ThePlugKE on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
At the Dex Goddess.
aka Mika kama kawaida, kama bado ni pole. This is The Plug. See you then.
Also, I'm all in my bag, thinking God like it's biblical. I know it's gonna solve every problem I have. I bought on the principle. Remember the teachers.
Welcome to Mega Dollar Lottery. To play Mega Dollar is very easy. Go to Lipa na M-Pesa, choose Pay Bill, enter business number 295888. Account name Mega. Deposit 10 shillings or more. Enter your PIN, then choose any 10 numbers between 1 and 80. Send to 29588. Draw is after every 4 minutes. You can win thousands of shillings or up to the 30 million shillings jackpot. Deposit, play, win with Mega Dollar.
29588.
Y254. Imagine.
Welcome back to Y254 Business Highlights. My name is Abdurazak Ngutia. Just how much do you think Islamic financial market will contribute to the economy? 22162 is the SMS line. Send in your response starting with the word Y News. At Official Razaki at Y254 channel, #Y254 updates. That's on Twitter. Now back to the discussion. A lot of people will wonder, what other charges do you have apart from, interest of course is not charged in Islamic banking. So what charges do you have for customers in the Islamic system?
Well, Islamic financial institutions and specifically Islamic banks, they offer their product using unique contracts. And compare it with the conventional banking. Conventional banks, largely, they use what is called a loan contract. When you go and open an account, you simply give a loan to the bank. And the bank undertakes to pay it back to you and also guarantees a certain portion of interest on what you have given. Now, from the Islamic understanding is any additional income that the creditor gets from his loans, that is considered interest. Now, what Islamic banks are doing on the deposit side, using the same case, is they have two contracts that they can use. One is called investment contract, whereby when you open an account, you actually invest for purpose of sharing the profit that the bank will generate out of its financing side, out of its trading side. So this return, it is not guaranteed, but of course, as you know, the current regulation requires you to pay something. And of course, Islamic bank won't make sense to the community if I can give you my money to invest with you and you don't make any returns. So we have to ensure that when we receive this money, we know where we can invest, where we can trade with it, so that we can generate profit that can be shared. But principally, this is not guaranteed compared to conventional banking, which is a guaranteed return. Okay, now, so on the asset side, or on the conventional banks call it lending. On Islamic bankings, they don't offer loans per se, because as you can understand, loan is a unique contract. And when you give a loan from the Islamic perspective, you are not supposed to benefit as a creditor. Okay, it is considered a benevolent act. You give somebody a loan so that you can help him. But Islamic banks, what they do is, rather than giving you a loan, and most of customers actually coming to the banks, they have some needs, and they're willing to trade with the bank. So if you want a stock, what they will do is they will buy a stock that you need and sell it to you at a profit. Okay, so this is a profit, not an interest.
Not an interest, but
because
a profit.
even from economic perspective, interest is quite clear as a return on money. Okay, while a profit is a return on trading. Okay, so this is a unique difference that is there in Islamic financial products.
Now, the burning question, actually the question that I've been asking the viewer, How much or to what extent do you think the Islamic banking system would benefit the economy?
Definitely, as a business institutions, they offer a lot of opportunity to the country like Kenya. As I said, number one, it opens up for investments. Imagine years before 2007. Okay, this is an area that was grey. No business was there. Now we have Islamic banks. We have 3 Islamic banks in Kenya: Gulf African Bank, First Community Bank, Dubai Bank. But not only this, we also have Takaful, which is an alternative of a conventional insurance. Takaful is an Islamic insurance. We also have various Islamic circles in the country, and they are increasing. Even on Takaful, even on banks, the trend is increasing. So these provide an opportunity for the country to bring in foreign direct investment. As you can see, for example, Gulf African Bank, okay, the shareholders are from abroad and from local. If you look at Dubai Islamic Bank, it's the same. If you look at FCB, to a larger proportion also, it composed of, so it brings that one. But more importantly, they pay tax, okay, which adds to the revenue of the Kenyan government to deliver services to Kenyans. More so to provide employment opportunities. But more so, if these banks are supported to grow, okay, it will add value to the financial stability of the Kenyan financial sector. Because all around the globe, it has been proven where there is a larger segment of Islamic financial institutions, even during the global financial crisis, these countries didn't suffer much because of their direct link with the real sector. As you can see, rather than giving you money and compound it through interest, growing it on the air, Islamic financial services is not like that. They have to produce something. The money has to be linked with the economy. So this cushioned a lot of Islamic countries from the impact of the global financial crisis. But also, Islamic financial institutions are not engaging in speculative transactions. There are products like derivatives, options, and so on, which are very speculative in nature, okay, which really trigger financial crises. Okay, the bubbles that we had seen in US in 2008 is a result of this kind of products, collateralized debt instruments that had led to the global financial crisis. Islamic financial institutions are not designing this kind of products for speculative purposes. They really needed to engage themselves directly through trading or through partnering or through delivering a service. Okay, it can be either a professional service like advice, or it can be just to help you transfer the funds somewhere within the ambit of the regulator, of the regulation, and so on. So there is a huge potential for Kenya, and so far we have already seen with these existing 3 banks and the 1 Takaful and the SACCOs, a lot of opportunity has been opened up, and the government is benefiting a lot. And that's why I see the Kenyan government is very interested, our government is very interested to ensure that this industry is really supported, given all the infrastructure requirements, so that it can be able to grow and contribute more.
So apart from employment, what other opportunities do the youth have to benefit from the Islamic banking system?
Well, of course, the youth is now. The youth is us.
It's not the future, it's us.
It's us, it's now. It's no longer about the youth is the future. Okay, so even Islamic banks, you know, and I'm glad to say that Gulf African Bank actually has youth banking. And understanding the lifestyle of the modern youth, okay, it has developed products and services which are really resonate with this clientele or this group, okay, which is actually in our country constitute a larger portion, okay, out of the 50 million Kenyans. Youth are really substantial. So we have a youth banking, and we have come up even with the products which are really for the benefits of the youth, like students' accounts, but also we have also special leniency to facilities, okay, for the companies or enterprises which are run by the youth, by giving them financing with very relaxed terms and conditions, and giving them terms which they can be able to afford and be able to run their business without constraints.
Speaking of financing youth business opportunities, are there any boundaries on what kind of business you will finance? We will not go to the extremes of asking about bars or anything of that matter, but what are the boundaries of financing youth business opportunities for the Islamic financial sector?
Islamic financial sector, as I earlier said, it embraces ethical principles. Anything that is considered socially harmful, okay, Islamic financial institutions are not prepared to support that. So you look, the door is open here to see, and you can see that actually there are many businesses which are not socially harmful. Actually, very few, okay, social or businesses which are really social, causing some social negative impact to the society. These are the ones that Islamic financial institution will not engage into in terms of financing or trading with them or providing or form some sort of partnership. But the rest, Islamic finance can be accessed. They can access those. Islamic finance institution can be able to finance them, can partner, can trade with them, and this is the largest portion actually of the Kenyan trading community and youth. Actually, they are in trading sector, transport, energy, and so on and so forth. Compared to those very few sector which cannot even fit in my finger, which are excluded by Islamic financial institutions.
Now, in your own opinion, as we wind up, what exactly do you think this 11-member task force should consider while they're drafting their Sharia compliant policies, apart from all that we've spoken about?
Well, I think the key thing now is public awareness. Public awareness is very important. First, to demystify what Islamic finance is, and second, to clear some of the myth, which is a misunderstanding, and some are huge expectations. There are people that are expecting that when you do business with Islamic financial institution, it will be for free. Okay, even if you open an account, you won't be charged anything. Even when you go for financing, you expect them to just buy something and sell it to you without a profit. These are unrealistic expectations which needs to be clarified. There are myths as well which says that this is only for Muslims, which is not so the case. Actually, it is for everyone who is appreciative of the nature of operations of Islamic financial institutions. So I think this committee, and I know actually they are working on this, but it has now to come into implementation stage by ensuring that there are proper public awareness programs to create awareness from the school levels to university and to the general public.
Okay, thank you very much for joining me. Now, this has been a very, very engaging interview, and I believe that you have also grasped something from it. Of course, there is so much that we would have delved into, but because of time, we really have got to apologize for that. But 22162 is the SMS line. Send in your response, starting with the word news, Y news, starting with the word Y news, and tell me, how much do you think the Islamic financial market will contribute to the economy? Now, at Y254 channel, at Official Razaki, hashtag Y254 updates on Twitter. My name is Abdul Razak Ngutia from Business Tuesday. I'm wishing you a very good night.